Welcome to today's Board of Supervisors meeting.
I wish we could had a monitor where we could keep track of our time. We're going to start off with 19, the emergency proclamation. You know, this is the worst drought in 500 years. I don't see that in there. We got El Nino here with no water, and I kind of curious why we don't do a little more studying on what's really happening. Number 15. This is the Children and Family Services. I called Nikki Hackett, the director. Marlene does no longer take phone calls. She refers it to some other lady, a public information officer, and nobody called me back on 15. Marlene Hagan, the director, who heads up the Kids for Cash Child Trafficking under color of authority ring known as CPS. You know, Marlene we had a conversation almost a year ago about what they were going to do for the children in San Bernardino County foster care system. She said, we're going to try to get them laptops. We talked about that their kids were doomed for life. They're doomed for a prison, no skills, no laptops, no driver's license. And she talked about getting a laptop. You know, are you guys going to keep this insanity up with these kids never get nothing every year? Every year, year after year after year, the foster care, these are your children, you guys. These are your children. You know, I'm going to ask that there's a decree to cancel Christmas. And it's run by this Illuminati Mormon-run county. I want to silence the bell ringing, turn off all lights, no Christmas dinner, stop all the singing and caroling. Come shed a tear for wishes unanswered.
Excuse me, Mr. Snell, this needs to be directed at the consent
This
agenda.
is 15, we're talking about Children and Family Services. I could not get a call back from them to talk about it, and I'm talking about the children.
I'm going to ask you once more just to stick to the item, and if you stay on course,
I'm talking about
continue.
CPS, sir. I'm talking about Children and Family Services.
Continue on the direction.
Okay, well, I got a call last week, sir. I got a call from a lady I've been working with in Yermo, and I tried to deal with your office on it. This lady tells me that they will not give back the other child.
That's not in reference to item number 15, Mr. Snell.
Well, we're talking about it, Mr. Lovingood, and I wish you wouldn't interrupt me, sir. You know, that's family agencies and the memorandum of understanding of the template. You know what's going on in foster care? You know. And for you to cover it up is not right, Mr. Lovingood, or allow me to not get a response back of what's going on in there. So the lady calls me. You know what? They're giving her $688. $688 they give her. They give her $200 in food stamps. She's got one of the babies back. She gave up nursing. They won't give her the other baby back because they say they don't know if she's fit to handle two kids. I mean, it's insanity. It's kids for cash. Francisco Durango Pancho Villa once said, peace is a dream only achieved when good men are willing to commit great violence upon evil men. You know, we got children. You guys are in charge of these children. 4,100 children. You guys take these children from their mothers, no criminal charge filed, and then you want to sit and put them on psych meds, Mrs. Rutherford? Remember you said you're the leading example? I don't know about your prayers, but I don't know what God you pray to, but it's not the same God we have. You know, there's nothing for these kids. By the time you get done, this one lady out here in Yermo, $688, $200 in food stamps. They won't give her the food stamps for the other kid, which I know when Nancy finds out Swanson, she'll take care of it, because she's really probably one of the best people you got here in the county. But CPS, it's child trafficking, you guys. Child trafficking. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're taking the kids from their mothers, Mrs. Rutherford. You're putting them on psych meds. There's no charges filed against them. And then $688? But you're getting $200,000 a year from the federal government under Title III and Title IV money? Shame on you people. That's despicable. It's insane. It's ungodly. You people say you got a God? I don't know where he is or what he's doing, but I'm asking him, God, come strike these people. Strike these people, Lord. Let them feel the pain that they put on others. I get 2 or 3 calls a week. You know what they tell me they want me to do, Mr. Lovingood? They want me to turn around and call the same agency to complain about what's happening in the abuse. That's insanity. There's no agency, there's nobody set up to monitor the corruption of these children. They pack our prisons. 80% of them go to death row, are from foster care, 74% from prison. You know, I was asking the grand jury today, can I ask you a question? No. Well, maybe that would explain why Bob Smith is allowed to steal the boxcars out of the park and put them in his backyard. Maybe that'll be explain why Bob Smith is able to take the money that he gets from those fire insurance companies and stick it in his pocket with no monitoring. I'm so sick of this county and what they say they represent government. This is so evil. It's so evil. And then the children. You know, can you answer me a question, gentlemen? What are you going to give these guys this year? Maybe you can get Mr. Ramos to give them a used turkey bone or something from the casino up there. I know they give all those political money to all these people of all stripes. I mean, are we on the same planet, you guys?
That's
Josie, I know you got to be hurting. Your heart's got to be hurting because I know you love children.
Thank you very much for your comments, Mr. Snell.
Set up an
Thank you very much.
that monitors the corruption and quit taking these children. In God's name.
I'll
Thank
refer
you,
you
Mr.
back to
Snell, for
several
your-
meetings ago when we had a presentation about how psychotropic drugs are administered in this county. We're the example in the state of how to do it right. Other counties are looking to us for how many checks and balances we have to make sure that it's done appropriately.
But with that, we're going to call this until December 15th is our next meeting. We'll close this. Thank you all for attending. Have a good week.
Call this meeting to order of the Board of Supervisors, December 15, 2015. We want to acknowledge the High Desert and Joshua Tree video conferencing sites.
Jay Lindbergh, San Bernardino. When the Sun mentioned, failed to address the what we're doing in the Middle East, what Israel is doing to Palestinians in the Gaza and West Bank, and our role in the funding of ISIS. What they did is when they were doing these 3 articles, is they called it all propaganda. That's what they used. If you take propaganda in these articles and you put our wars in the Middle East, Israel's attacks in the Gaza and the West Bank, and our investments in ISIS, that's basically how you have to read those articles. You know, they're putting out this thing called San Bernardino Strong. So I asked the question, would somebody please explain what it actually means? Does it mean we will soon be giving out hunting permits for Muslims with a 5 Muslim limit? Does it mean we now support the global war on terror, no questions asked? Does it mean that we will obey this war on terror without asking the tough questions, like, do we have American troops? Why do we have American troops in 2/3 of the countries of the planet? Are they there to protect us or Wall Street investments? Are we going to look like Nazi Germany before this mess is over? We have killed over 7 million Muslims since World War II to maintain control over oil supplies on a global scale. We are in the process of killing an estimated 2 to 5 million more to secure our Middle East, secure over Middle East oil.
Cloak of a clown, because I want you clowns to listen. Mr. Lovingood, please look at me. Sir, Mrs. Rutherford, Mr. Hagman, please pay attention. Put your computers down. We don't come all the way down here to see you guys play video games or text on your laptop, so I want you to listen to what I have to say. The foster, Mrs. Rutherford, I'm asking you to listen. Mrs. Rutherford, are you paying attention?
Continue with your comments, Mr.
No,
E.T.
you don't
Snell.
have to. She don't have to listen. What do we come down here for if we can't get you people's attention to speak?
Keep your comments to the board.
We're speaking to a black tablecloth
Keep
that
your
used to
comments
be
to
our
the board,
place where
Mr.
we could
E.T.
speak
Snell.
publicly. Mr. Ramos, don't interrupt me. Please don't be a speech Nazi. We don't need it today.
I'm giving you a
You
warning.
guys
Stick
sit
to the
back
issue.
there
That's
and,
one warning,
put
Mr.
us on
Snell.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You've already got my time down to 2 minutes. You guys don't listen. What are you doing for foster children this year? Do we have any plans, or are we pocketing all the money this year? We're going to give them more psychotropic medication to handle the anger, the separation anxiety. You know, there's a lot of issues on the, you know, the code enforcement is no more than house Nazis for the land services. I don't know why that's not given to environmental health services, because they do a fantastic job. You know, I called down God on you people on December 1st. You know, that was his choice, what he decided to happen. Maybe it was coincidental. Maybe like Ali Rivera was saying, some of the things she called down. You know, you people need to listen. You need to listen, Mr. Lovingood. Pull your head off that computer. Mrs. Rutherford, you know, I don't expect you to listen, because the way you psychotropically medicate 2-year-old children and can dignify that response is absolutely insane.
Jay Lindbergh, San Bernardino. The reason I'm in front of you all today is because of that, what happened 2 weeks ago. That after this happened, I went online and I started downloading information on, you know, what would motivate these people to do this. And what I found is a CIA assessment that our drone program is creating more terrorists than we can ever kill. That one example is our first drone strike in Yemen killed 15 women and 21 children. First drone went into a school. In Pakistan, the target to non-combatant ratio is 60-1. That means that every time you kill one of your targets, you kill 60 non-combatants. And if you want to create terrorists, this is how easy it is. You do this, you kill one target, 60 non-combatants, and a Taliban or an ISIS representative shows up at the funeral of each one of these people and says, how many of y'all want to avenge the death of this person that you're burying here? And estimates are that this policy in Pakistan has created over 35,000 recruits for 54 targets. That's how we got into this mess. A couple of things that they're not talking about is while we were dealing with this, these are some headlines out there that you don't see in the mainstream media. Well, of course, the Yemen headline, bombing in Syria kills 22, wounds 70 in front of a hospital. Israel continues bombing of the Gaza Strip. Oh, video of an ISIS video showing stockpiles of American weapons.
So hopefully you'll pay attention while I'm speaking, Mr. Devereaux, because I'm going to be speaking about you. My name is Tracy Capps. I'm a community activist from Fontana. I'm involved in many different items, busing, high-density housing, toll lanes in the Inland Empire. Toll-free IE is my Facebook page where we're trying to keep toll lanes out of the county. Sandbag has other intentions, shadow government, regional government. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk today about Mr. Devereaux. San Bernardino County is the wild, wild west, and we're just never going to get rid of this terrible reputation. I had to listen to our county be disparaged on KFI radio. Bill Handel dedicated an entire hour to talking about the scandal with Mr. Lamberto and Mr. Devereaux. And while I realize Mr. Lamberto is on his way out with a big fat bag of cash, Mr. Devereaux is still here, and that's a problem. We encountered Mr. Devereaux before this at UC Riverside. I heard him speak at a ROCOG meeting up in the mountains. I heard him speak. He bragged about the fact that he could not be fired and that he ran this county consensus style. And that is a huge problem, because that means we don't need you guys sitting up there. We don't need to be paying all you guys. We can just have either Mr. Devereaux calling the shots, or we can have a county supervisor board that we elect who represent us, we the people. So it should be one or the other. I don't see how it can be both, okay? This thing where he's going to adopt a policy after the fact, Sandbag loves to do that. And that doesn't solve any problems. I think Mr. Devereaux is a very intelligent man. He understands what he did, and him doing, I saw your apology, sir. That was a non-apology. You're smart enough to know that our district attorney shames men publicly for doing what Mr. Lamberto did. You had to know that you should have just, I don't know why you did what you did, sir, but you have to go now. And this board that's sitting up here, I want to thank Ms. Gonzalez, Josie Gonzalez. She's a lady, and she's leading the charge, and you men need to step up and follow her lead. And it only takes 4 of you to send Mr. Devereaux. He can take his big fat bag of cash and follow Mr. Lamberto out the door so that we can reset this county and have some real transparency and get our good name restored. It is important. I am tired of living in a county where I have to hear about what's going on and we're the laughingstock. This just needs to stop. So 4 of you supervisors need to step up and
That's time.
display leadership. The CEO must go. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Snell, if you're not ready, I can call the next speaker.
Well, I want to say good morning, but then you're going to start my clock. And I'm looking for my notes here. You know, that Caltrans has got it going on, man. I've been to hundreds of these meetings, and I swear to God, if half of them don't have Caltrans' name written all up and them tearing up the highways getting down the road, I don't know. Seems like a dirty conspiracy. I do, see, started my time. You guys are well-trained, man. And I don't really think you have any respect for First Amendment. None. You've made, and I want to apologize to Barbara Sokoloff. She probably went to get her hearing aid. Sweet lady, League of Women Voters. And she tells you guys, don't take our right to, after I ask questions and show that there's nothing in the back of the book about the questions I have, allow us not to get responses from your highly trained staff. You don't have all the answers. You can't wait to get out. I know I see you in the parking lot every time you're racing out of here. Can't wait to get out of here. You brought Devereaux, you got his contract twisted, you got the county charter twisted. I mean, you've got the children in foster care twisted. You have the whole government twisted. Joseph Smith would do spins in his grave. If he knew what I knew and saw what I saw, he'd spin in his grave. It's really sad what you're doing up there. These titty bars, you're going to regulate them. And for me, being raised in foster care, I know when I worked the doors at them, it's a portal. You raise these children in foster care, and the only portal you really have that left them in society, a lot of the girls and boys, are these titty bars. You're either a bouncer or you work in there. And then they took Asperia and they lowered that from 21 to 18. I had a hard time with it. I don't want to get rid of all the titty bars. I don't like lap dance. I think that's, you know, that's, to me, when you have contact with somebody in a titty bar, that's exploiting sexuality. So, I mean, we're headed in the same direction, but to close them all down, I can see regulating their pink building, but to close them all down, the children you've raised in foster care, that's their portal in life that you've developed for them, are the titty bars, because that's where a lot of them wind up to work, because you've abused them so terribly. Haven't done your mental health homework with them. And Mr. Lovegood and Ramos, you guys said you were going to call me. I'm still waiting. I'd appreciate a call on the foster care. Mr. Ramos? Mr. Ramos? Are you watching porn up there? Wow, what's going on, dude? I know you hear me, man. Come on. These guys, we come all the way down here in traffic, and you guys are going to sit there and watch porn on your, or play games or whatever you're doing. At least give us some respect to, you know. I mean, we have to sit here and listen to you. You've twisted everything around, Mrs. Rutherford. You went to that, what do they call that? I did some homework on Rutherford. They're well known in England for the delicacy and tradition of these little sushi balls, and they suck on them after dinner. And
this segment we're going to do is called Vamos to Ramos. We have a bunch of, and that's our county district attorney. We have a bunch of articles here. We have some different flyers and political mailers, newspaper articles from Mark Gukluk, SBC Sentinel, SENTINEL. You might want to write that down to research if you want, if you like researching politicians. The situation is Mike Ramos is running for his 5th term. He's already been in there 4 terms. Politicians are like diapers. They need to be changed often and for the same reason, and that's my opinion. Also, I believe, another opinion I have is that if you give people all the correct information, that the majority of time that they will make the right, 90% of the time they'll make the right decision. I believe that, but you have to give them all the information. You have to give them the correct information. And that's what's hard with our media. They don't give all the correct information. I don't see any newspaper giving all the information about Ramos. There's different articles, but if you put it all together, it would really, Ramos is done. He's toast. Ramos to Ramos, unless the voters don't get the right information. Ramos has made a lot of mistakes. He's low on cash. He's running hard. He's done a lot of things over the last, after his last 4 terms. He's done some terrible things. So we want to cover some of those things and let you people out there know and try to give you the right information. Number one, I can tell you personally, when I moved to San Bernardino County, 20 years ago, and I continued my activism in LA County. Well, they've put me in prison 3 times on phony charges. 2 of the times the polygraphs are on my site, etsnell.com. So, and all of a sudden, when the Bell scandal, the attorneys that took the alleged terrorist threat and turned it into a restraining order and then turned it into criminal charges was Navi Myers. Coincidentally, I go to San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors meeting and there's Navi Myers. So it doesn't mean that that Ramos did or didn't have anything to do with it, but it was that it was the Public Integrity Unit, Dave Demersion of LA County. But getting into some of the things, his biggest mistake was the Colonies Project. And the Colonies Project basically was a piece of property that was flood control that was bought by Barham, and Kirk was involved, Mark Kirk, and a bunch of them were involved. And what they did was Ramos alleged bribes, and because there was money flowing, there's big money flowing. So and Barham's pretty generous with his money, from what I understand. So he was giving people money and watches and gifts and all sorts of other stuff, But one of the biggest mistakes they made was they lost the trial. Now these guys are going to come back and they're going to sue the county with all rights. With all rights, they're going to sue the county. I mean, they basically ran Mark Kirk out of office. They ran Paul Bion out of office. And some of these articles that if you go online and you look at look and see what Mark Guklik has in the Sentinel, it's SB Sentinel. It's amazing, some of the article, and Mark does one heck of a job, and I know Ramos hasn't sued him, but there was some things in Ramos's history, like in 2009, he gave his wife Gretchen $10,000. It wasn't even election time, and that was supposed to be for services and help in the campaign. Well, how could it be when there's no election time? So I mean, Ramos has been in a lot of trouble. The thing that really concerns me is that he's in this one article on in the Sentinel, and Gukla goes after these guys. There was a person that had alleged that Ramos had taken bribes to protect one of the gangs. Now that's the lowest of low. And it must have been pretty good because because they quit calling him when it come time to putting these chasing these people down. So the guy's name was Rico Doe. Said that Mike Ramos was handed during a designated rendezvous at the Pachanga Casino in Temecula a package containing money that was from narcotics distribution activity. So when you got stuff like that, and then his mistress, and I mean, there's just tons of stuff. They're claiming that he fabricated some of the evidence in some of the articles Guklik writes about, and then Joe Nelson writes about him. His report card, $5,000, fined thousands of dollars, excuse me, by the state of California. Didn't graduate from accredited law school. Promoted as a mistress to receive $304,000. Dozens of reassigned dozens of prosecutors to pet project. Wasted over $50 million taxpayers' money on fake political prosecutions. Fabricated evidence in failed political corruption cases. People versus Beyond et al. Case number FSB 1102102. Sued for sexually harassment of an inmate. So basically, his report card is back. The overall violent crimes up 27% in San Bernardino County. Overall criminal case filings down 18%. Total felony filings down 14%. You know, you guys need to wake up out there and go do your research, get the right information, and see for yourself what's going on out there. I myself, in my opinion, I think this new district attorney coming in is the best thing since Penny Bubblegum, and I think we need to get rid of Ramos for many reasons. And I'll leave it up to you folks, but I hope nobody votes for him. And in my opinion, I think he's a terrible person. Thank you. God bless. And have a good day.